This is called The Evil Genius, and that's already making you think things that do not happen in this book.
Okay. Is he just a bad person?
It's not even...
Not even a bad person?
It's not even really about anyone in particular. It's kind of a misnomer. So
there's no evil and no genius?
No. I don't know how else to say that.
Right, okay.
So, we open with... We're told that this guy is a sailor and has been accused of... It doesn't really matter, it's only in the prologue. But it basically has been accused of some kind of crime where he's... There's been a shipwreck and he was the survivor, but then like some cargo has gone missing and they think that he's maybe planned something and, done a bit of a conspiracy or whatever. So some jewels are missing. And he is going to be like executed for that, basically, Victorian times. So he's in jail. And I guess throughout the rest of the book, people keep telling his daughter, like, your dad was a virtuous man, he would never have done it. Except we already know from the prologue that he did. And it kind of doesn't matter, but he says to his wife before he dies, like, yeah, here's a note, here's where to get the diamonds from. So the wife then goes to a bar and finds like some old guy that she used to fancy and was like, I will marry you and bring all these diamonds with me as my dowry if you help me get them. But the note's written in like cipher, like it needs to be like, figured out. So they go to like the cipher expert shop, I guess, and this old gentleman's just like, I just do deciphering. But then he just steals the diamonds. They're like, he's like, I'll figure it out and you come back in a week. And they come back in a week and it's just like, I'm gone with the diamonds. Like, why would he not? So he steals the diamonds, and then the woman's kind of like, well, damn. So she says to this guy, I will marry you. You kind of... I tricked you into it, because he doesn't want to marry her anymore. You only wanted the money. They're like, well, let's move to America then, and I'll take one of my children with me. So they move to America with the son. They're never heard from again, and then the daughter is just also there. Like, oh... Sucks to be me, I guess. I'm just left behind. So they leave her behind with an aunt, and then it's like a short run of that Dickens. Like, she works in the aunt's school, and it's a terrible school, and all that type of stuff, and she's treated horribly. She puts an ad in a newspaper to be like a governess somewhere to get like private work, and this man comes to see her. Then the aunt is like very mean, and like you're not. It's almost slavery, but it's kind of like you're not permitted to receive private correspondence at my address. And she's like, but then how can I ever do anything? Like, I'm stuck here doing slave labour unpaid for you. I want to leave. So the man eventually takes her away. And that's like all the beginning of the novel. So where the bulk of the novel happens is this girl's going to be a governess for his little girl, Kitty. This girl's called Sydney, by the way. Unfortunately, she goes in, so the family consists of our main guy, Herbert, his brother, his wife, and the mother-in-law, and Kitty. The mother-in-law is immediately against the new girl, because she tells the wife, like, you're letting your husband bring a very attractive woman into the house. That will only spell disaster. But the wife is like, well, I trust the husband. I'm sure that this girl, has some references and whatever. And he's like, nope, completely random girl I found in a school. And she's like, well... Sounds like she did need help, though, so you've done a good thing. I'm in support of this.
Okay.
And then the mother-in-law is even like, she's won me over with her character. I do think she was a good person, and I do think her husband did a good thing to help her. However, she is very pretty, so I'm still worried about that.
Yeah, I was kind of assuming it would be that.
So she's like, I think you need to get rid of her, not for anything she's done wrong, but I still think it will upset the harmony of the house.
I'm jealous.
And, well, it does, because... Then the husband falls in love with the pretty girl he's brought into his house and kisses her and, seduces her. And there's a very short period of time where she's like, oh my God, do I have to tell them? What do I do? Is this an affair or whatever? And then it all kind of comes out. It's a bit sad because she just was vulnerable and wanted employment and some help. And he decided that he had to fall in love with her or whatever. So he cheats on his wife and, she finds out and she kicks him out. So, there we go. He goes to live with Sydney, and it's never really stated why, but it's stated that they have a terrible, horrible life together, and it is really, I guess, just because of the guilt. They feel like they're living in sin or something, like their relationship is the product of cheating, so even though they're now together, they just both feel bad. And
that's usually not going to work out anyway.
Of course. And she is a virtuous girl, so she does feel really bad. And, she didn't go looking for this. So the mother-in-law feels very, like she got it right. And she is the type that would mention that and boast about that. She's an interesting character, Cora. She's 2 ex-husbands, and she always mentions them both as often as possible in a way that, like, they complement each other. Like, one had certain traits, one had the other set of traits, and she sort of believes that, like, a combination of the 2 of them gives her, like, all of the life experience and knowledge she could ever need. And she'll always, like, not put them against each other, but she'll be like, my one husband lacked this quality, but the other one made up for it, and then he made up for the one that he lacked. And she's always bringing them both up together and trying to make this impression that, like, I'm well cultivated and got a lot of knowledge because of this guy's deficiencies, but this guy, and vice versa, So she's always kind of bringing those up. And always wanting to be right, and blah, blah, blah. So they do have to kick the girl out, but she was a good governess to poor Kitty. And they say that, like, they taught each other, because this is a random girl with no social skills who's been brought up as slave labour by her aunt, right? So she's like, Kitty actually taught me a lot, and we played together, and, like, I was the first governess who could ever make her do her schoolwork because we were friends and we respected each other, and then she taught me about, like, being a normal person after school hours. And we got along very well. And Kitty doesn't understand why now her family dynamic is broken up and the dad and the governess have left. The dad then makes what I would consider a reasonable request. He says to the mum, I'm really sorry, and I would like to have some contact with my daughter. And he proposes, I mean, don't get me wrong, the daughter's living with them, with the governess, so there's no school, there's no routine. So he proposes 6 months, you, 6 months me. And the mum is like, no, you can never see your child again. And I think that's a bit unfair.
He did.
A little bit.
It's his child, he has as much right. Well, she kicked him out, essentially.
Okay.
So he's like, I want to have my kid 6 months a year, and she declines flat out. The solicitor tells her, like, if this goes to court, he will win. So we're going to try to...
I wish that's how it worked.
Well, yeah.
Me too.
So I don't know if you consider this, but what they do instead is they get in a small boat and they go to Germany. So, like, if it goes to court, he will win. So we flee the country with our child.
Yeah, that holds up really well in The Hague.
So they do leave for some time. The dad is not happy, and his wife is not, all the whole life is not going well and everything. They eventually come back. I didn't like the moral position that she wouldn't, let him have the kid or anything. They then tell the kid that her dad is dead. Because she's like, why can't I see my dad? And they're just like, he's dead, actually, that's why. So
I mean, the mother's just a complete liar.
It's really, this is the thing, because obviously the dad is the one who hurt the mother in the first place, but now the mother is kind of being the bad guy here. She's like, well, you can't see your child, and she thinks you're dead. Kitty eventually... Basically, she's pretty, so the lawyer gives her information he definitely shouldn't have given her, and is like, the mum is staying at this address, and you can go and talk to her about this case.
Wow, yeah, that's disbarment immediately.
Yeah. And he's like, I shouldn't have told you that, but you are pretty, so...
Well, it gets the plot moving.
Basically, yeah. So she goes, and she's just so apologetic the whole time and tries to make everything up, But there's also a chap called Captain Bennydeck.
Best guy, all right.
Yeah, and he's the brother's friend. And the brother, by the way, sides against the brother. He's like, he cheated on you, like, that's on him. I'm actually staying with the other side of the family now. And here's my friend Bennydeck. But something weird happens. Bennydeck has been looking all along for his old sailor friend's long-lost daughter, who is, of course, Sydney. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I think it's Randolph or Ralph or something, the brother knows about this. But it's just like... I guess at some point I should tell him that I know them both, but kind of doesn't. So a long period of time passes where he doesn't tell them. Then the wife gets with Bennydeck, and she's like, I guess I'll just marry my brother-in-law's old friend. I thought that it was going to go somewhere relating to, like, I knew your dad, and a whole big story about that. It kind of doesn't really come up. Instead... The husband comes back and apologizes to the wife, and he's like, I'm really sorry. And she's like, I probably have to take you back then. I can't marry Bennydeck. Bennydeck wouldn't marry her because he didn't believe in divorce. He's very religious. So even though they get a divorce, he's like, I don't consider that divorce is legal. In my eyes, you're still married. So, yeah, I can't marry you. So she's like, well, I guess I better take my husband back then. Nothing else for it. So they get back together.
That's your only option?
That's exactly how I want to be. Wife's like, well... You're not the worst option. You're better than being alone.
No.
Like, oh god.
And the mother says to Benedict, "Congratulations on my daughter having rejected you because she's gone back to her husband and she's so stupid I'm embarrassed by her and you've escaped her," and then leaves the family, basically.
That's fantastic. That's a good line.
And then Benedict's just like, "Oh, I guess I'll just kind of let my friend's daughter be my secretary now." And everyone lives happily ever after. And that's it.
Like, the friend's dead? Like,
Was
the
there?
father's dead?
No, the father's just back with the mum.
So, okay. He's not gonna...
No, the mum
them.
and dad get back together. Oh, the father of the girl is dead, of course, because they execute him in the prologue. But yeah, they're just like, cool, I'll take my husband and wife back together, and the friend will take the governess, and she can visit the kid when she wants to, and everyone's happy.
Was there a moral behind any, or lesson to be learned?
Sadly, so there's no evil genius unless you count the mother-in-law as kind of the evil genius, and they do mention once or twice that she thinks the girl's the evil genius, and the girl thinks the uncle's the evil genius, and whatever. I guess the moral is that it's okay to cheat on your wife. Like, that sounds ridiculous, but that is kind of what it's trying to tell you. Well, sorry.
I mean, I would disagree on
I would also disagree on it.
In general, yeah. You know.
But that's where the book lets me down a little bit. Because the end result is that she takes him back. And they basically say, like, a virtuous woman would take him back. So they try to teach that that's the moral. Like, you should forgive him.
Okay.
I don't know if I agree, but, like, that's...
I know that I don't agree.
I don't agree, but that's what Wilkie Collins is trying to tell us here, essentially. He's trying to say, like, yeah, when you... I need to look it up, like, did Wilkie Collins cheat on his wife? Like, is that why he's writing this book?
He's trying to defend himself.
Yeah.
Cheating is okay if you're handsome.
Yeah. I have
that
some...
would hang for a bit.
I just have some problems because the mum and dad both kind of do, like, immoral things, so I don't really like either of them. You're not meant to like the mother-in-law, and the brother doesn't do that much.
The mother-in-law was the best person.
She was savage.
She's mean the whole time, though.
Yeah, which made her interesting.
I think
Let me tell you about my 2 ex-husbands.
the only person you're really meant to like is the governess, but she's almost too good. You know, this, like, super pure Victorian girl who's actually kind of boring in a way, you know?
No personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the little girl is cute, I guess, but she doesn't understand
Every
anything. They just lie to
live-action
her.
Disney.
Yeah. So, again, you'll see that, like, I like it, and it is the type of story I like, but it's definitely not going to be in, like, my top 3 list or anything, you know? It's just, like, it's pretty middle of the road. So that's... I'll give it a yeah, just because I liked it, but...
Just barely, it sounds like.
Yeah, I always like Wilkie Collins, but this was not, like, one of his stronger ones. And there we are.